The A Show.
Where smart is the new sexy.
And now, April Hunter.
Bonsoir, all you beautiful and smart and sexy people. By the way, you do get smarter and sexier watching the A Show.
Absolutely.
Slightly minimally less if you just listen, but definitely sexier if you watch. Welcome. I'm used to looking at the live and greeting everybody, except we are pre-recording this week. And, I'm out of town this following week, and I'm very, very happy we're able to do this. We might pop in and say hi while it's live. So thank you all for being here today, wherever you're watching. And I'm super stoked to have our returning guest, Jimmy the Greek, Jimmy G, our resident holistic health expert who has been here 67 times so far.
At least.
I thought we were on the 100.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit about self-care, self-love, and the holistic health industry as a whole, and some things that you should know. And of course, I'm joined by, now it's ED Spirit. Is that because of the self-love? It's ED?
Yes, I may have.
Eva, Miss Eva Spirit, Eva D Spirit. And I didn't lock my dogs down. We're here during the day and I'm letting them run around. So Eva doesn't have her birds in the background. So now when you hear a dog bark, that's cheers,
right.
Drink.
It's during the day. I'm going to stick to water, but
Exactly. That's 5 o'clock somewhere, people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Jimmy, thank you for coming back. We are thrilled to death to have you. You are always one of our most popular guests, and I feel like we learn so much from you. And for those who aren't familiar with Jimmy, you got to look up some of our former episodes. I mean, our last one was all about the pelvic floor and what the pelvic floor does for us. It also helps increase our orgasms. But,
and so much more, yeah.
And for men too.
Yeah, not just for women. So, but
right.
Yes, we learn a lot, and there's no holds barred on these conversations. So, Jimmy, with that, we talked about topics, and I will open the floor to you. Please enlighten us on self-care, self-love, and the things going on right now. Now, I don't know where we're going to be. This is we're filming this on Thursday, the 31st of January, and it will air on Tuesday, start of February. But currently, right now, the RFK Jr. Confirmation trials, I guess, are underway, and they're brutal. They are brutal.
It is almost comical.
It is. Yeah.
It is actually comical. And there are some, I have some theories regarding all of that. And there's just, and I'm starting to wonder if the word hypocrisy actually comes from the Hippocratic Oath, which is let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. So, which I mean, medical, taking that oath as a physician, you could not be more hypocritical than that, especially what's happening right now. So
that's right.
I don't know, what are your opinions on all of these things?
My life before massage therapy. Currently I'm a massage therapy educator in Arizona, and my life before massage was actually in the political science world. I went to college to be a political science major, and I spent 2 internships in the mid '90s. Got to go to the White House, meet the Clintons, all that jazz. And
Sorry.
Yeah, it was what it was, but cool for me at the time, a young 20-year-old, young literati, right? And I remember just thinking, okay, well, the city doesn't feel good after a couple rounds of internships. And I thought, okay, now what? What do I do with my life, right? And I thought, okay, well, I have this degree, political science, and I'm seeing both sides are equally as guilty and of all the stuff that we see. And so I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? Then I'll go to massage therapy school, get educated in anatomy and such. But I remember, 20 some years ago, actually 25. I went to massage school starting 1999. So about 25 years ago, I remember many people in the holistic world were saying, let's be careful for vaccines. Let's really look into everything going on, like what's going on with the pharmaceutical industry. So it just seems like today's a repeat of just what always is discussed for decades and decades. And it just becomes like baffling to me that someone who finally wants to go against big pharma, finally we have that dream come true, like someone in government can be on our side, the holistic practitioner side, and we've been preaching this for years and years, why RFK is getting so much shade thrown at him. It's pretty clear why. It just seems. You see, you can certainly see the corruption. You can see who's in whose pockets the lobbyists are at play. But I just hope that more people see that, you know, the provisions that RFK can really push through can really advocate for what health professionals, homeopathic, and not just allopathic, but homeopathic and naturopathic medicine practitioners have been preaching for decades. He should be getting a lot more support than he's getting.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eva.
I was say I have a question.
I have a theory.
Oh, okay.
But my theory will be a minute, so go ahead with your question.
Well, I was just going to ask. We were talking about, actually, you had mentioned today about doctors or people not getting updates or updated education. So, Jimmy, have you gone back for any classes or anything since your original massage therapy?
Oh, yes. In fact, in the state of Arizona, in most states, massage therapists need continuing education every 2 years to maintain licensure. So
That's wonderful.
We can pick any class that we know is going to be approved for these hours. And it is a really great thing to be able to pick classes that are more, nutrition based and homeopathic, naturopathic based medicine and energy work classes. Like I teach Reiki as well. And so when we get to that realm of medicine, we recognize the body certainly knows how to heal itself. And there's a time and a place for Western medicine. There's also a time and a place to honor our bodies and kind of find the natural remedies that work for us. And I really hope that more people will kind of like look past the political BS and just say, don't worry about, political parties. In this case, this is not a party issue. This is America is just too darn sick, and disease patterns are just rising beyond belief. When you look at 1980s versus today, thousands of percent increases in certain diseases, right? So if there's a time, like the iron is hot now to support someone like RFK, no matter what you think of his politics, just the big specter he's going to have of change in our industry is, I think, important enough to support him.
Yeah, it's ironic that a natural practitioner has to go back every 2 years, but a westernized, doctor does not. Once they get out of school, they don't go back. And this is verifiable. In your entire career, your academic career as a doctor, you only get the equivalent of 2.5 days of training in nutrition. That's it. Through all the years. Through all the years. Now, yet you're going to take the oath at the end, let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. So I don't understand this. And a lot of people don't understand that westernized medicine is new. It's not long-term tested. It's only been around. The whole system was changed by Rockefeller and Carnegie in 1910.
Oh, are you referring to the Flexner report?
I don't know if I'm referring to that, but I know that they decided they wanted to change the system and make it a lot more profitable. They shut out all the physician practices and studies for women and Blacks, many of whom had already been practicing medicine. Yep. And they decided that they only wanted a few universities to teach medicine. They wanted it done in a very scripted way, and they wanted pharma attached, and for it to be, they wanted to obliterate all the natural medications, because I mean, how can you can't patent a root or teas or dandelions or certain weeds or these things that, raw garlic. So these things that have been used for centuries, I mean, literally thousands of years, Ayurvedics, Chinese medicine, Japanese medicine, things that have been around forever. And obviously some are wives' tales, but a lot of them work really well. And they're trying to poo-poo that.
And I think you are referring to the Flexner report. That is verifiable. In fact, I think I can look on my computer and try to find my copy here and send to you sometime. But yeah, the Flexner report was that essential thing, right? How do we get the Rockefeller family? How do they get their tentacles into a major facet of our economy? And their family certainly got enriched 1,000 times over for that. And even in the holistic world, we teach a lot about how, even the Kellogg's company, the founder of Kellogg Company, he was a man of naturopathic medicine. And I think he's rolling over in his grave thinking what happened to his company years later, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you look at how embroiled things are, we take Kraft and cigarettes. So the cigarette companies, and I forget which one. I want to say it was was it Winston-Salem?
Philip Morris.
Yes, sorry, Philip Morris. Philip Morris owns Kraft Foods.
Mm.
So when when they started realizing that cigarettes were bad for you, even though doctors had pushed them as being healthy and safe and good for your digestion because they're paid to say that, when it was revealed, even though they knew this when the studies, they just didn't let out, when it was revealed publicly that cigarettes were actually very bad for you, they wanted them out of the grocery stores. And Philip Morris said, fine, but we're going to pull all our Kraft Foods as well. So Philip Morris owned all Kraft Foods. So if you wanted your macaroni and cheese, so
You sound like
Hey, Jimmy.
you sound like a modern day Aaron Brockovich just now.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good example. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So look, here's a theory I have, and we're gonna go back to everything I want to hear about you, but I just want to hear your opinion on this theory. If RFK Jr. comes in and makes America healthy, which right now we spend more per capita on healthcare than anywhere else, it is one of our largest GDPs. If we were to be healthy, going back to more of and I know most homeopathic practitioners don't have a problem mixing Western medicine in, which but it's the other way around where there's an issue. But if we go back to being more healthy and using things that don't necessarily spawn a lot of side effects, and not using vaccines for everything, but using, common sense, hygiene, things like that, because I personally believe that the advancement of humanity is not because of vaccinations for the most part. It's because of hygiene. We're not using open operating theaters with people sitting around. We're sterilizing instruments. We're washing our hands. We have clean water. We know how to, prepare food in a clean way where we're not slicing open the fecal area of the animal and letting it contaminate everything. So we know more now. So we're better now with this kind of thing. But they love to say it's strictly vaccines. And so if you are pushing people in a healthier way with a higher immune system, they're not going to use as many medications, which means pharmaceutical companies are not going to make as much money. And this seems to be where RFK falls, to keep people healthier. So if the pharmaceutical companies aren't making as much money, this is a problem for them. That's one. And then two, it's a problem for our government too, because if people are living longer and having a higher quality of life, then they're going to be spending their Social Security money too.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Right,
and
indeed. Yes.
We can't have that.
Right.
That's a problem.
Money goes down.
Yes, that's a problem.
Not as many trips for Bermuda for the politicians.
Right. Now, if you look at other countries, countries that have universal health care, where they have a vested interest in preventative care and keeping their people from getting sick, they sell their prescriptions here at an insane markup. And they also offer, a lot of them offer, assisted suicide for their terminally ill. We do not do that.
Apparently we do in some states, by the way.
Oregon.
I just read that the other day.
Yeah, Oregon. But for the most part, we don't. And it used to be we got old, we got sick or whatever. We got old and we died, and it was really fast. We didn't languish for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10 years on a system literally propped up by a medical system, making it super fat and rich, $2 million or more. Each cancer diagnosis is $500,000 for each person. So we didn't live like that before. We got old, maybe we got sick or feeble, and we died fast. Yep. And it seemed like a lot more gracious way to go. And now we're just stretching it out. So
And we saw what happened in Greece when that does happen, since everyone in Greece seemed to live to be 95 years old on Social Security since age 55. An economy, a government can't support that much long, right? So Greece went bankrupt pretty quickly. Yeah, I like the theories that you're suggesting here. I like it a lot because a couple of thoughts come to mind. One is research. I think we have seen the influx of a lot of scientific research that is certainly geared towards, guided towards the pharmaceutical direction, showing the virtues of big pharma. And certainly there are some virtues, but however, at the expense of homeopathy. So I feel like we're going to just get bombarded with a lot more of that research. I think it's going to be on the nightly news. Another study comes out to disprove this or disprove that. And I think we're going to be bombarded with that because I think the government certainly is recognizing, oh no. In fact, in 2005, that was the first year that there were more visits to alternative practitioners than traditional doctors. So I think in the last 20 years, they've certainly seen a lot of influx in research. I think it's only going to multiply at that point. And we know that there's a kind of a way to kind of word things to say, hey, this research obviously sounds intelligent enough. It must discount the thousands of years of the other items that we know work, right? So you're going to see that come up a lot. And of course, it's hard to get a lot of holistic research. A lot of universities just won't fund that at all. No. There's not as much money to be made, so the funding won't be there. So you're going to definitely see a lot of people, well, there's 10 articles saying Tylenol is better than dandelion weed. And okay, that's fine. I mean, yes, if you want to go there, that's fine. At the same time, I think that we in the holistic practitioner world are going to have to do a lot more case studies, a lot more of our own research just to combat that, right? Yep.
Well, they've also done a wonderful job convincing people that they all need to have lush green lawns with no weeds whatsoever, so that they don't have a veritable apothecary in their front yard. So so if anything does go wrong, they don't have any dandelion or any kind of milk thistle or anything to go out there and just pick, make a tea, eat it raw, whatever. They can't do that. They have to actually go to a doctor now. And by the way, that's a lot of what's harming the bees.
An apothecary, you sound like a witch now. Oh no, right?
Call me whatever. It's a weird thing that we've been trained to fear and hate the witches, but not the people that persecuted and hung them for what reason exactly? We never questioned. Did we ever question that?
That's right. And the second piece I wanted to share was the idea that, certainly we've been kind of starting a revolution in the last 20 years, again, since 2005, more visits to holistic practitioners, alternative practice. So we know the momentum is there. And I just think that like having RFK in his position just gives us that push, the shove to the general public saying, hey, we've heard you for 20 years. We see the numbers. We see diabetes has increased by thousands of percents in some populations sets. And when we have 55 million Americans who are at least pre-diabetic, that's 1/6 of our nation. That's 1/6. That's an insane.
And everyone's paying for it.
Right, exactly.
Well,
So I think we're in the precipice of something really big. And I think that Congress certainly knows that. That's why they were asking the most absurd questions, trying to go back to his days of high school or college and all these irrelevant questions that mean nothing to the current position, right? So they were definitely grasping at straws, which shows you the desperation there, right? Oh, what do we see there?
So if you go to Open Secrets, and Eva, I know you have a comment and a question. If you go to opensecrets.com, you can find out a lot. And you can do any search, and I highly recommend it. So the top 20 member recipients of money from pharmaceuticals and healthcare products for 2019-2020, number one was Bernie Sanders, who was particularly vicious. He almost got he received almost $1.5 million from the pharmaceutical industry. Number two was Elizabeth Warren with almost $1 million. After that, we have Mark Kelly at over $500,000, Democrat. After that is David Perdue, Republican, over $500,000. After that is Mitch McConnell, over $500,000, Republican. Tom Tills, Republican, North Carolina, over $500,000. We have Kevin McCarthy, Republican, California, almost $500,000. The list goes on. Lindsey Graham, we got Republican, $359,723. And it's down the middle. It's a little bit more Democrats and Republicans, but They got it. And at the very bottom in the top 20 is Kamala Harris.
Interesting.
So,
Did you see today about that?
which
Bernie Sanders being yelled back at by
yes,
yeah.
I did. And here's another one on open secrets that you should know real quick. This is very interesting. I will here. So here, I'll read this to you. Pfizer is one of the most popular stocks in Congress, with 48 lawmakers placing their bets on the drug maker that hikes its prices each year. This story is part of a series about lawmakers' personal financial disclosures. Congress is tasked with regulating the most powerful and influential industries in the private sector, but lawmakers could lose massive chunks of their personal wealth if their legislation hurts those companies' bottom lines.
Indeed, that is the bottom line, right? Wow. And it makes me really it makes me feel a certain way inside, but I'm really concerned, April, that there's so many people who almost have become beaten to submission by these, we know it's happening, and some people are just going to succumb to it just the way it is, and it doesn't have to be. We the people can actually take some action, and we have. Obviously, some people spoke loudly in November so that we can make this country go in a different direction, and this is the game that we certainly don't like to see played, how absolute power corrupts absolutely, and people are obviously profiting off of this. But in the end of the day, I really hope that the average citizen sees numbers like this and kind of stirs something inside, saying we don't have to accept this as natural, as normal for the system. We can, with our votes and with our efforts at the local and city levels, join City Hall, join your state local council boards, and make that change from the inside, because that really is the momentum we need.
Yep. Speak up. I like how they try to schedule things like that when, let's say, half of the people might be working a day job and they can't leave work to go to these meetings.
Right.
Or they do it on Zoom and so forth. They don't tell anybody. That's been going on around here too. All of a sudden they went to Zoom. Everybody's going, well, we didn't know.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how
you
many
don't
times
get to have an opinion? That's not right.
It's so amazing how many times you hear the news Congress passed something at Friday at 5:55. Really?
Yeah.
Really? In the middle of the night, seemingly, right? So it's
Yeah.
really bizarre, and that this definitely speaks to a concern. I think that in the holistic world, we know that there's going to be a lot of individuals who still will trust that doctor knows best, and doctors will know a whole heck of a lot. There's a time and a place. At the same time, we need to remember we own our health. We are responsible for our own health.
You have to advocate for yourself.
We really do. And I'm a big fan of teaching that in my classroom. I say it often, how, certain, a good example is a cyst. How many women will get cyst, and a doctor will just say, oh, you're 42, you're going to get a cyst. Really?
Yes.
That's not the reason why you have a cyst. A cyst is because you have chronic inflammation in your body. So I would hope that the doctor would say, let's find the source of chronic inflammation. It just seems like conversation just ends. Nope, you're 42, we'll give you this medication, surgery, and that's it, right?
I have stories.
Oh my God. Yeah, me too. Violent PMS episodes and things like that. And women are just this is just normal. For a 13-year-old, it's not fucking normal. I never had that. Okay. I didn't have that dramatic mood swing. I'm something's wrong with the food. Something's wrong with the environment. This is not normal. I never, no, that's not normal. Right. And also I cannot emphasize this enough. There is a huge difference between the science and science.
Right.
So as in follow the science, and then there's real science. So you have to know the difference. You have to discern.
And who gets to determine the science, right? Who gets to determine that? We in the holistic world have been trying. We have been trying in the holistic healing world. And I got to tell you, here in Arizona, if you ever get a chance to come out here, we have the Sonoran Medical Center, a naturopathic university that does naturopathic practitioners. They're learning Western and Eastern and holistic homeopathy care. So it's like the dream come true right here in Arizona.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think it's just so important that as we think about self-care, ultimately I think self-care is a reflection though of self-love. So I think a bigger part of the equation is going to be, how do we get people to love themselves more? It's hard to focus though on that if I'm working 50 hours a week and these bills don't go away. Inflation's real. So I'm really hoping that as maybe the economy settles and cools down, maybe people will have more time to focus on themselves more.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we're going to have about a year before that happens, though. Eva, sorry, I skipped over you. You were saying something. Go ahead.
Oh no, he was talking about the holistic and when you felt like they got momentum and going forward. I think the first time I walked into one was maybe late 03, early 04 as well, as you were saying that. And, started with acupuncture and learning about things. And I was so happy I did that. It was an office full of different practitioners. But that being said, you had mentioned something about the pre-diabetic thing. So in your world there, what do you guys suggest for pre-diabetic? Because Western just throws you medicine.
Indeed, yeah. I feel like, type 2 diabetes is reversible in most cases. It seems very clear that the science would suggest that, at least in the holistic world, it really will. And so I feel like if it takes some lifestyle modification changes.
Wait, the science is not the real stuff. Science is the real stuff.
Exactly. So I'll just say science. Science at large will prove that. We know that lifestyle changes ultimately comes down to a wellness model. We have our physical wellness, our emotional wellness, even occupational wellness, spiritual wellness, intellectual. So I think it comes down to, if someone wants to create a change from chronic illness to chronic health. Wait, that's a new term. I made up a new term. From chronic illness to chronic health.
I like it.
Hashtag that. Make $1 million on that. There you go. But I think there's something again about like really helping someone look beyond what happened in the 1950s and 60s when realize, okay, it might take a while for a tincture or a tea to work, but this magic pill seems to work instantly. Forget the side effects. We can put those under the rug. You feel better, don't you? Right? Instantly, right? So I think we have to help people move past the instant gratification and realize, okay, it might take a little while longer for some of the other remedies to work, but it's going to work with your body. Your liver's not going to suffer for it. These natural remedies work with your body. So over time, you heal from the inside out, not from the outside in. And so your emotional health will improve. Your mental health will improve. So helping people see that, just taking that kind of that journey through health. We know health isn't a destination anyway. It's a journey unto itself. So as people start to see those connections in their body, saying, yeah, when my body feels better, my mind feels better, and my emotions are more regulated. And even at work, I seem like I can do my work easier, and I have maybe more of a sense of spirituality as well. So I think to answer your question, Eva, I think it's about helping people see the bigger picture, that we're not about just one-stop destination and quick fix healing. That's working against your body's natural systems in many ways, and that liver is going to break down and suffer because all your drug particles, everything you consume, has to go through the liver. So right off the bat, the liver is not really healthy. Some of these other things, no matter what we talk about, may not work as well. I'm a big fan of cleansing the liver first and foremost. Then everything else will start to work. But I really feel like with prediabetes or other chronic illnesses, especially autoimmune diseases, which now we know there's 155 types of autoimmune disease. That wasn't even the case 10 years ago, right? So as we start to see people who are, again, chronically ill, how do we help them see that bigger picture? I think the bigger picture is the wellness model and helping encourage health on all different levels.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, and you nailed it without actually saying it, one of the main differences between a holistic practitioner and a Western practitioner is a holistic practitioner looks at the body as a whole. So they look at everything, your lifestyle, how you're eating, your entire body, from your, like you said, from your liver to your diet, to your heart, to your what levels of exercise you're getting, to how is your home life. Whereas a Westernized medicine breaks everything down into like specialists. Like if you have kidney issues, you're going to a renal specialist. If you have a brain problem, you're going to see a neurologist. If you have heart problems, you're going to see a cardiologist. So if you're feeling faint or dizzy, you might be sent to a neurologist. If they don't find anything, then you're being sent to a cardiologist. If they don't find anything, then you're being sent somewhere else. And they're doing tests. Yeah, exactly. You go into ENT.
They did that to me, remember?
And nobody is treating the body like a whole.
Right.
And they're not speaking to each other. I mean, we see that with our insurance. You have to buy extra insurance for your vision or your teeth because apparently your teeth and your eyes are not part of your body. So
it's bizarre. And what a great point you're bringing up that, yes, it would be nice if all the practitioners did communicate with each other. There's not seemingly a network that allows that, or computer programs not allowing that for some reason. So I think that we definitely have a lot of challenges with just the one organ is at fault, but we know that's never the case. We know that all the organs are relating to each other. The kidneys do relate to the heart in some really fun ways. Like, did you know the kidneys actually produce a hormone called erythropoietin that is going to actually regulate red blood cell production? It comes from the kidneys. Holy cow.
Oh, that kind of makes sense, actually.
All the blood comes through the kidneys. So what better organ then than, hey, let's make a hormone that can regulate what the blood's supposed to have. So I think it's really healthy that we start looking at the holistic practitioners. They really start to see, yeah, all the organs are related somehow, some way. And that's where I just feel like, yes, we've made a lot of progress the last 20 years. And I have a faith that with RFK in charge, with that momentum just gets like a big giant push. Because in the end of the day, I really feel like I don't know if it's entirely nefarious. I just feel like there's just a system in place that is just kind of just not geared towards what we need. Some nefarious, yes. I'm
sorry. I think there's some nefariousness there.
Yes.
When you look at how much money that these people have received, and you look how hard they're attacking RFK Jr., they are worried that their sugar daddy is going away.
Yes, that's true. Yes,
they're worried. They're like, oh shit, let's get him out of here. He is a big threat.
They're trying hard.
I want to point something out to people too, in case they don't know. If you've been told you have high cholesterol, if it's in the 200s, you probably do not. If you look at what the cholesterol levels were in the 50s, 60s, 70s, when people were actually really pretty healthy, it was in the was it 240s?
Yeah, 250s.
Yeah, 250s. So what the non-nefarious westernized medication system, the pharma system did was they lowered the numbers in the end of 80s, like 89 or something. They lowered the numbers because statins became very profitable. By the way, statins are directly linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. The reason for that is you need fat for your brain. Your brain is completely made up of fat. The more fat you eat, the better your thought process, the better your brain operates, basically. So when you're using statins, you're eating a low-fat diet. It's taking all the fat out of your diet. You are creating Alzheimer's and dementia. So you can take something called red yeast rice, and that can help balance, which Eva told me about, alerted me to. That will help balance your cholesterol, but I wouldn't worry too much if it's a little bit over.
It also balances your pre-diabetes numbers.
Yes, now there's a few things out there that can that can balance your sugar really
kept
well,
me level,
including cinnamon.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do, the brain actually has no pain receptors. That's why brain surgery is painless. What hurts when you have a headache or a migraine is the lining around it, which I'm blanking on the name right now. It's a 4-letter name.
That dura mater.
Dura mater. Thank you. The dura. So the dura does not like to be expanded or contracted. And this is what happens when you are dehydrated or sodium deficient. You don't have enough salt. And in most people who have migraines, 80% of them were found to be sodium deficient. We're so pounded into us that we're supposed to avoid salt, avoid salt, avoid salt. Salt is integral to survival, and it helps you retain the water that keeps you hydrated. So if you are dealing with headaches, slam a glass of water and make sure it's salted. And this also goes with blood pressure issues. A lot of people deliberately avoid salt with blood pressure. High blood pressure is often caused from dehydration, not sodium. I'm not saying go all out. If yours is wild high, this is not for you. But yes, you still need to drink water. But if yours is moderately high and you are a healthy high blood pressure person, you probably need more salt. And you definitely probably need more hydration. So the things that they're telling you are not necessarily in your best interest. They are to keep you a customer, And by the way, you're a customer, not a patient.
Indeed.
Don't get it twisted.
And I think in the holistic arts world, we talk a lot about awareness. How do we raise body awareness? And yes, I think it's really easy for the average customer now to look at a website and say, see this one research study that was cherry picked or hand selected to be the number one on the Google map, right?
Or Google shoved because they paid Google.
Exactly right. I feel like it's easy for someone to say, okay, if we really do our research, there's going to be 30 articles that we can survey and such. The one that stands out, the first page, is going to be what gets most attention. So that's going to be what I hook on. And then it's going to be really easy for me to say, well, my body should match what that research article says. And we recognize, no, there's going to be healthy ranges. We need to be really aware of our bodies. And if I put this in my body, how does it make me feel? Does it help me or does it not? Is it going to be 2 tablespoons of honey or 3? I have honey every single day to regulate my blood sugar, and I think it's really healthy, right? For you, it might be 5. For me, it's going to be 2, right? So I think it's going to be really important.
I have it every day too. I love it.
It's going to be important for people to recognize, what's right for my body. Don't only do what the Instagram celebrity says to do. Don't only do what that one research study says. Find out what's right for my body, because my body will never lie.
And speak up to your doctors too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tell them this makes me feel like shit.
Yes, indeed.
And stand on that. Yeah, stand on that. They are not living your life.
And we have to recognize not all doctors have the same training too. So it's always good to get that second and third opinion.
Yeah. So regarding self-love and self-care, if somebody is, what do you recommend for this? Because if someone has a hard time with self-love, what is your recommendation? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, there's 2 ways to look at that. One, I have to recognize that some people are ready to do a deep dive shadow work and really dive into their deep dark past and such. That person may want to look at the beliefs, the core beliefs of why do I feel like the way I do? Why do I have these thoughts and it leads to certain actions? That comes down to your core beliefs first and foremost. But if someone's not ready to go there yet, I think we should think of just some nice, easy activities for them. I have to be careful, of course, as I speak, because I know that as I say this, just saying the word core belief doesn't make some people feel good, like, oh, I may have been brought up in a way to not love myself, or I felt worthless growing up. And we can see how that person may not take to any ideas, because in the end of the day, something in the back of their mind saying, well, I'm not deserve love anyway, so what's the point, right? So I have to be really mindful that as I talk to people, as we talk to our family and friends, I hope all of everyone listening here does what I do. And I reach out to like 5 people a day. Just random, like, I haven't talked to you in a while. How's it going? And I think a lot of people just need that connection, and they appreciate that connection. Hey, it's been a while since I talked to you. And hey, it's nice to have a connection again. I think a lot of people are lacking connection, especially when these cell phones were supposed to connect us, but maybe not as well as we thought we were.
Yes.
So my point is, I think we have to be really careful that when someone is in that state of, I'm not, lovable, I'm not lovable, that person will need to do maybe some psychiatry, some counseling to really get themselves to that point of feeling like they can be loved and lovable, because I know self-care is a reflection of self-love. Now, having said that, I'm not expecting everyone to go call a shrink right now, right? I know not everyone's ready to engage in that. So I think there's a lot of things that we can do just to kind of feel like we can feel like ourselves. Like I think about artful expressions. Like just last night, I was playing the best of the 90s, 2000 jams on my Facebook today. I put like a Liz Fair video. She was one of my first celebrity crushes out there. Just kind of like really is fun. Like whatever you find enjoyable from what you were in high school or college or whatever, I think that's always a good first choice. What did you like?
So go back and play. Go back and lose yourself in some play.
10 minutes of playtime. Go outside, roll around the grass, do whatever you want in the grass, whatever you want in the grass. Oh, it doesn't matter, right? I think it's really healthy. Get your feet in the grass, get your toesy woesies in the ground. It can be as simple though as like pretend you're 10 years old again and just do what you like doing. If it was reading, go ahead, find that good book and read it outside and get some fresh air. It can just be whatever you feel like. But I think I go back to art a lot. Painting, writing, journaling, any sort of artful expression again? Was there any fun music you liked in high school? Play the Best of Run DMC 1989 again. Do it. Whatever. Maybe nice. Spring the 8-year-old self again, right? So I like to think about art. Yeah, what can we do that's artful, like painting rocks, painting anything, right? I'm a big fan of rock painting, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen you post that too, haven't you?
Yeah. I don't know if I posted it yet, but I just did that.
I like
one.
it. She did that for my birds. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Thank
Love
you.
that. You're beautiful there.
Very
Yeah.
nice one.
Yeah. And just making it fun, not worrying if it's perfect or not. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be fun, right? It just has to be fun. And I think anything that you can do to kind of bring a little laughter and levity to life is going to be good. So maybe just find good old comics or comedians and just find something good.
Yes.
The comedians of 1989 that could just laugh about anything. Maybe not the comedians of 2023, but
Wait,
thinking back.
did you check? Either one of you guys check out that new movie yet?
Which one?
The one with Eddie Murphy. I just touched on it last night a little bit, where he plays a cranky father whose daughter is wants to marry a white guy, and it is hysterical.
Oh, is it?
And it's a lot of the people
it's
from
Eddie
back
Murphy.
then. Oh yeah, and he really plays a mean-spirited. He's he's not Jewish. What is he? Muslim.
Okay.
He's Muslim on top of it all. So.
So
Anyway.
he gets all the racist and
Oh yeah,
they get
it's
stuff
really.
in there.
Oh,
Okay.
it's called You People. You
Okay.
People
There you go.
Okay.
on Netflix.
Hey, wait, didn't you know the ADL said only white people can be racist?
Okay.
They changed the
Really?
definition. They
Did
changed,
they
they
really?
changed the definition.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. A couple of years ago during the pandemic, they said that racism is only a white thing.
Wow.
I don't know. You may pick something up on that movie. It goes both ways.
I'm sorry. I have dated people. I've
Sad.
dated people of every ethnicity, hue, and religion. And let me tell you, it is not just a white thing.
There you go.
Nope.
Matter of fact, a lot of them are racist of each other, like shades of skin. So yes.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of pets and animals. So if someone needs a little more, self-care in their life, taking care of another life really does bring you to a point of appreciating life. So I hope that maybe if someone's out there is wondering, what can I do? Go to the local shelter. There's plenty of animals that need care, right? So please adopt a pet. That would be a really good thing to do. And just to have that pet right there in front of you, I think that right there starts to create that mental healing, emotional healing, all the bonds, right? All the bonds. Yes, indeed. I think also dancing, right? Oh, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I love it. Love it. Indeed. Your dog's adorable.
Or play with other people's dogs.
Yes.
Muggsy says hi too, by the way. My Muggsy says hi too.
Yes.
Of course, with self-love, I think it's also good that we do some self-care as far as just the physical health. So it doesn't have to be join a gym, but doing something to do some exercise, because a fun anatomy fact that I like to share these days that really surprises people is that, your blood cells are made in your bone marrow, the red bone marrow. It's supposed to be red, but we're now seeing cadavers in 30-year-olds where the red marrow is turning yellow.
Ooh.
And yellow implies fat cells are in the marrow. So we know fat cells are not going to make blood cells, the blood cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So we have to recognize the number one way to keep that red marrow red is movement, exercise, especially weight-bearing exercise. So I think we can just kind of be conscious of that why is someone feeling, they say, I just feel so fatigued and tired every single day. Well, maybe we're sedentary, we're not getting any activity, and we don't have as much red marrow, and we're 38 with a sedentary lifestyle. So today is the best day to go get that body moving. Doesn't have to be join a gym. I mean, if it can be, that's great. But if you live in an apartment complex, you got the gym there. It's available anyway. Walk around.
Walk around.
Hands are like 2 pounds each. Whatever you got in your home, just do something. Because once that red marrow is gone, it's gone, and then it turns into fat cells, and that's not ideal, right?
And I'll add that exercise, a lot of us swear exercise is the fountain of youth. It turns over your cell, it creates a lot of cell turnover. So that's why a lot of people who work out tend to look younger and move better, especially if they've been doing it for a while. So the longer you do it, the more of a basically it's an investment in yourself. So the longer you do it, the more you get out of it.
That's right.
So
That's why I'm
it's
gonna look Forever 35. See, Forever 35.
Yeah.
you and me both.
Good for you.
That's right. That's right.
It's funny. I'm starting to get to that age where I'm like, oh, I can see it now.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
I can see it now. It's happening. But
And half of your body weight is supposed to be muscle mass. So that's an interesting perspective, that if half of our body weight really is muscle mass, muscle we know is more metabolically demanding, right? Indeed, so more metabolically demanding tissues, we know.
That's half of her body weight right there.
We're going to keep that metabolism high, keep those blood cells at work, and it's all going to just continue to maintain our health and wellness, right? That's right, Hulk. There you go. Right. It's so,
come on, Jimmy, you can do it.
Vitamins.
I can just show a little Batista every now and then. There you go. I think it's really healthy that we just help people recognize that just because you're a certain age doesn't mean we have to be a certain way. Doesn't have to be reflecting what they see on TV and movies. And again, the average person working 50 hours a week, they're in that mundane of life, right? Almost like Groundhog Day mode, right? Just same old. And then I have to kind of maybe shake some people and say, hey, let's see what else can we do, right? Let's break off the normal routine and just add one new activity in your life. How about just good old singing in the shower, or again, YouTube jam, Party the USA jam, right?
Dancing.
Something like that, right?
Dancing. Because you're having fun, you're raising your vibe, and you're moving at the same time. Like you're literally getting three birds stoned at once.
Right, indeed. Here in Arizona, we still have a disco club. So whenever you're out here,
that's awesome.
Have that special someone take you to the disco club. Okay, there you go.
And I don't know if it's China. I think it's China. They have cardio clubs where you just go and you dance and you have a good time. It's literally a cardio workout. You can go for cardio.
We need more of that, right? We need to encourage that. And maybe
that is out there. You just have to. It's on YouTube and all those things where you can just play it and go along with the dance moves and learn. Body Groove is one of them.
I'm already doing my self-love.
There you go.
Exactly, right? I think, anytime that we have any sort of activity that encourages movement, it's always a good idea, right? So it can just be as simple as simple stretching. Doesn't have to be the hour yoga class. Just simply a simple stretch while you're watching Netflix anyway, right? People are watching Netflix anyway, just stretching your arms in front of you, just trying to get that movement going, maybe creating a little bit of rotations as you're moving and such. Little bit of, hip hop, hooray! Oh, right there, right?
Jazz hands.
Motion is. It's actually true. Motion is lotion.
That's right.
And
So
I always recommend, if you're past a certain age, if you only have X amount of time, you should be aiming for a weight bearing workout, resistance workout rather than cardio. So get in there and hit the weights for 20, 30 minutes. If that's all you can do, just do that and get out. Literally hit and get. As long as you keep moving, keep the intensity high, you can get away with 30 minutes, 4 times a week. And that should be good for you.
And a fun fact, I've had the pleasure and privilege of teaching from human cadavers. And so I've seen cadavers of people who are 70, 80, 85 years old, with some people having pristine muscle at that age. Red marrow, still very obviously red marrow. So it's possible. And I just want people to see that no matter what core belief they developed from TV and movies and whatever, or scientific article that was cherry picked for them to believe that illness is legit the way to be. No, we don't have to be ill. We don't have to live with that. We can be health. We can be examples of health and wellness. It just takes, again, finding that right holistic practitioner. Again, good that we have a doctor when we need it for a broken leg, but at the same time, what happens? We don't want to become dependent on drugs. How do we eventually wean ourselves to a point of that? Again, food is my medicine, not Tylenol.
Before you reach for Tylenol, always try a glass of water. Maybe put a little salt in it.
No chocolate.
Dark chocolate. 85% cacao. Yes.
Chocolate.
Well, the salt thing I was going to bring up too. As a migraine sufferer, salt and water unfortunately upset your stomach. I had asked a few people about that. Have they ever heard of that salt and water? And they said yes, and they've tried it, and it just doesn't stay down. It comes up.
Still pickle juice.
So
dill pickle juice and water. Try dill pickle juice and water. A shot of dill pickle juice.
I shall suggest that.
Yeah, because you're getting the sodium, you're getting everything that you need. Dill pickle juice is also used for if you got those leg cramps in the middle of the night or foot cramps. Dill pickle juice will release that immediately.
Oh,
Yes.
it works.
Yeah.
Indeed. Anything with magnesium would be a great idea. So I think the average person probably is deprived of magnesium because the average foods with magnesium are the healthy foods that too many people avoid. So I think if we can just get maybe some Epsom salts, Celtic salts, something to add magnesium to our diet somehow, some way would be a good addition.
Excellent.
Plus, I think our foods aren't as nutrient rich. Our soil isn't as nutrient rich, so we're not necessarily getting what we used to get.
Ooh,
And our foods are so big too. We used to have apples. Our apples were like this. Now our apples are like this, or like apples on steroids. It's like, wow, you are the Schwarzenegger of apples, right?
GMOs are steroids, aren't they? The GMOs are the steroids.
Yes.
They are.
Like,
Yes.
that looks weird.
I think about that corporate farming we've probably talked about in the past. Corporate farming we know is stripped land over so many decades by now. I think you do need to have like double the volume of the food to get the same nutrient value from like 30 or 40 years ago. So of course the volume will only add weight to us. And so it becomes like a downward spiral for some reason, but we can always look for nutrient rich foods, provide that supplementation that we need. And I think
Or local farmers.
Yeah.
It's bottom line, right? Let's support those the local farmers market, right? So let's do it.
Yeah,
Here-
we've lost half our farms in America in just the past, most of them in just the past 4 years because of
now
regulations. They've been under attack. It's
that's
really bad.
nefarious. That is
It
nefarious.
really is. It really
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
And I think it's deliberate. It's so the more people can vote with your dollars and buy and by the way, eggs are the same price with the local farmers for the most part. So the more you can buy through local farmers, but also eggs last forever when they're actually pasture raised eggs because the bloom seals the egg. So you can go out. If you got to drive 30, 40 minutes, you can buy a bunch of them and they'll survive. So they'll be good. But the more you can survive, the more you can support a local farmer, the better it is for everybody and better it is for your health.
Yeah. I think also touch. We should mention the idea of touch. And touch, certainly people may have different opinions of what touch means or ideas. What is a massage? A massage is about someone connecting with another person. And so it doesn't matter the style of massage. And at the end of the day, it's about the ability to connect with a human being. So certainly if you can get just a general massage, it's always a good idea. But if you can't get a massage or don't want to, how about just good old fashioned hugs, right? Just even that, just 5-second, 10-second connection that literally transfers energy person to person. In fact, it has been studied that we have 300 ohms of electricity when we have human-to-human touch, skin-to-skin touch. So literally,
Does that count when you get punched in the face?
maybe like 500. Depends how hard you hit, right? There you go, right there. 500, right? Yeah, Roddy Piper didn't hold any punches. It was 1,000, I know.
Oh,
right?
no, I got makeup there for that one.
but I feel like, when we do start to really, I hope people recognize that touch is not just a foo-foo la-la Harry Potter sassy molassie thing. There's like real energy that transfers. And when you know that someone cares about you and when they show up for you, we know that right there lends to self-care because that you're going to feel the care and compassion through their touch. And that right there, I think, is a great remedy for many people.
I have a question on that.
I was going to say, I had a friend that would make sure she would book a massage as often as possible and always with a male massage therapist because she's like, I want a man to touch me at least every other week. At the bare minimum once a month. She goes, but I want a man's hands on me at least once a month. So
and in a caring, loving way, right?
Right,
Caring,
exactly.
loving way, right? Because energy follows intention. We know. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What were you saying, Eva?
So all right, you were talking about self-love, hugging, all those things. So I know in my generation growing up, and I don't know where you're at on this, Jamie, so I'm not going to ask. That there wasn't a whole lot of that. Like we were taught at a young age, don't touch, stay away. There wasn't a whole lot of love in the house. It was stay on your side of the house, whatever, be quiet. So people like my age and stuff seem to struggle with that, myself included, as in, don't touch me,
I
stay
make her
away.
hug me now. I make her hug me when she comes in.
Indeed.
Yes.
There's a great deal of cultural consideration too. I mean, I'm Greek, so in the Greek culture, men would just kiss each other on the cheeks. It just everyone does, right? It wasn't seen as, what are you trying to do to me? It's just hey, nice to see you. There you go, right?
Right.
So I think if you have someone who is trepidatious about touch, just a holding of the hand and just saying like, nice to meet you, place your hand on top of theirs, and to say it's really nice to be with you. I don't think a lot of people hear that. Like, it's nice to be with you.
Or nice to see you.
Yeah. We don't get seen. We don't get seen in that many ways. I think a lot of us feel like we are human doings. We got to do something, be productive, make you some money and all that. Whereas, wow, what if we could just be with each other, not worry about anything, and just being together?
Right.
Yeah. So self-care goes beyond activities. Anything fun is going to be a good idea, but I think self-care is a reflection of self-love. And the more that we can encourage love in our society, that might take helping people kind of break out of that mundane square of, hey, every Friday night, you're always at home. You know what we're going to do tonight? We're just going to go to the local disco club here in Arizona, and we're going to just disco all night long. And there you go. And that's just what you got to do. And yeah, it might seem a little strange because I guess when we get older, we kind of get set in some ways, but let's just play like we're 10 years old again, right? No inhibitions there. We were not inhibited at age 10, right? We just did what we wanted. Let's do it again, right? So I think the more you can help people, and that's why I mentioned the whole reaching out to others. Are there people that we can reach out to? Who haven't you heard from in like a year or two? Yeah, Facebook friends. Okay, yeah, we talk on Facebook, but really, when have the last time you really connected?
I know. And Facebook, if you go on there, they have events. Sometimes, you find some live music, something going on, people, hosting a dinner, and meetups.com has a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
That's where I've met a lot of my friends through there. I mean, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you go and you're just like, this is not for me. And other times you go, you're like, okay, this is a pretty cool group. So you can't, don't assume the first, it's the foot may not fit in the slipper the first time you try it on, you know what I'm saying? But you try a few things.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I lost it. It went away.
Also,
Sorry, I got one.
I think one more good thing is to kind of like make sure that we are conscious of our human connections. And do we have anyone that we feel like we can be vulnerable with? Do we have anyone that we feel like could be in like a top 5 friend group here? I mean, there's a lot of people that we might meet over time, but I think there's always going to be a couple people that, like there's just something special about this person, not romantically, just simply hey, maybe I can be myself genuinely with this person. Let's really make sure we maintain those connections. And even if it's been, you haven't heard from them in a while, hey, it's nice to talk to you again. Let's rekindle that connection, not trying to be romantic, just simply just a connection, right? And because we all need connection. We are social beings. And that's why I just get really concerned about maybe a generation coming along that is so enthralled in these phones that now we're isolating so much, and we're really taking away a major facet of what makes us healthy is that touch and that connection with human beings. That right there lends to health.
Very true. Eva,
What do you? I was gonna say, what's your opinion on adding in like Valentine's Day? You said like month of love.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We're rolling up on that day that people either love or hate. I hate it.
I do too.
I don't like it. I don't care if I'm loved up with. I don't care. It's just, to me, I don't care for it. I don't care for a contrived holiday that is basically a Hallmark holiday that no matter what you do, it feels like everything costs 3 times as much. It's stressful. You have to do things. There's pressure. Yuck.
Even if someone at home says don't bother, we know that's not true. Everyone appreciates the gesture, and I've been saving some tip money just because I got to take my wife out somewhere.
That's the last thing I would want. I would not want to go in public that day at all, ever. No.
We're doing ours the week before. We're doing ours the week before just to get away from the hoopla, right? And you're right, they do double the prices at all the restaurants seemingly.
Or more.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
If you can even get in.
Yeah. That's it. You can't get in either. So no.
So it's going to be, I think self-care is a really fascinating topic for this month. And I hope that people, if anyone out there is not feeling like that something, I don't have a lot of people and it's hard to find connections, it's hard to feel the confidence to go to these places. I just think that we should just first and foremost remember that we are our biggest advocate. We can be our biggest advocate, and we can be first and foremost loving ourselves. So that's being kind to ourselves. There's a certain phrase in the Ayurvedic world called metta, or living the idea of self-kindness, loving self-kindness. And I think that if we can just start here first before you worry about elsewhere outside, let's focus on just what makes you uniquely you. That right there is a beautiful quality. So I would just always start here. And if it takes someone maybe helping you see what's great about you, I hope someone out there can maybe get that help that they need. But I know I'm definitely someone who like to share with people, hey, you're awesome because of this. You're awesome because of this. And maybe when you reach out to those 5 random people a day, you can remind them how awesome they are. One awesome fact about them. I think people need to hear that. Some people need the validation, like, yeah, the world might think of me this way, but I actually am a good person. Or whatever I did in the past that wasn't good, that does not define me. The divorce does not define me. Whatever happened with my, whatever situations at work or children, that does not define me. I can now define me today, and I can be that person I want to be. So helping people see that, I'm just hoping that if I speak this out loud, that someone hears this and recognizes that we all have beautiful gifts and graces. We all do, because we were all made from a loving source. We all were. So universe is source, universe is of a loving source, and universe loves us. And I just hope that people can recognize that within. Booyah.
I love that. I love that.
Don't forget to hug yourself too.
That's right. Self-hug, right? Self-hug.
Self-hug.
Those are very constructive ways to have self-love. I have what's it called? An art. I guess it's art. A picture up. And it says, if I ask you to list all the things you love, how long would it be before you list yourself?
Oh, I love that. I would love that. Can you please post that on my Facebook wall, or just give it to? I would love that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when they think of spoiling themselves or self-love, they do tend to gravitate towards more destructive habits, like, oh, I'm going to buy myself an ice cream. Oh, I'm going to buy something on Amazon. More of a quick dopamine hit. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to eat some, I'm going to do something that's not as long-term gratifying.
Yeah.
Well, at Amazon, they do sell massage tools.
Yes, indeed. And anything that we can use at home, feel great, right? Muscles, indeed, right? Indeed. Interesting that I think at the like a underlying this whole self-care idea is this idea of what healing represents. Could healing represent self-discovery? As I discover myself, as I discover that healing first and foremost is spiritual, and as I develop my spirituality and develop my relationship with self, I end up inadvertently, consciously or subconsciously, I end up encouraging a deeper relationship with source, however we define that. So I think in the end of the day, as we do more self-care, I hope everyone embraces this idea of, if you feel more at ease with faith, if you feel like you want to dive deeper in your faith, religion, spirituality, whatever it is, that's a great decision for you. Because ultimately, health and wellness is first and foremost spiritual, and spirituality stems from this notion of, I recognize that I'm a reflection of the divine. And what a powerful self-actualization that is. It takes time to get there, to see that bigger picture. Start with the self, though. What makes me feel good? What makes me feel safe? What makes me feel like I'm 10 years old again? And eventually we have that renaissance moment of, wow, I feel more spiritual. Like I feel like myself. I don't feel like what I have to be expectation-wise from other people. I can just be authentic, and that feels good.
I remember what I was going to tell you that has to do with all of this. I watched a video, and it was adults versus children, and they were asking each. You saw it, right, Eva?
Go ahead.
Oh, they were asking each side if they could change anything about their bodies. What would it be? So when they asked the adults, there was like, girls like, oh my God, I would change my forehead. It's like a 5 head. It's so big. People tease me all the time. I really hate it. And the guy's like, I would change my ears. I would just change my ears. Another girl's like, I'd really love to have a nose job. It's just, I just can't stand my nose. And then they went over to the kids. And when they asked the kids, so like, what would you change about your body if you could? And the girl looks, she goes, I would have a mermaid tail. And the next one is like, what would you change about your body if you could? And the kid goes, I would make sure I have wings. I would have wings.
Very cool.
And the next one, he said, I would have rockets on my back so I could go anywhere I want. And then the last one said, if you could change your body, what would you change? And the girl goes, I wouldn't change anything. My body's fine the way it is. So I thought that was really interesting that as a child, we don't have issues. There are no issues. We still have an imagination, and we accept ourselves for what we are. And we have this amazing ability to accept. And as we grow older, all of this stuff, that my forehead's not good enough, my ears aren't good enough, my nose, I need a nose job, this isn't good enough. This is all, we allow that to come in. And ultimately, it's probably not true. It's just bullshit. So learning to remember and stay in that childlike presence where really having a mermaid tail would be the shit. I mean,
I would go with the wings.
I know. I don't know what I would want more. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you got to alter something, wings or a mermaid tail, or even rockets, a jetpack permanently above rockets, that would be the way to go. So
what would you pick, Jimmy?
Oh gosh, golly, it's hard to say. I think I would pick like antennas to pick up the universal energies everywhere.
Oh, good one. Good one.
That. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, I think I would definitely be a fish. But yeah, I think having a childlike view of the world and then having really an inner child where you enjoy yourself, and like you said, art therapy. Go and do the things that you really enjoy when you were a child before, making a paycheck mattered. Go and move and play. And if the gym is not for you, find physical exercise that you actually enjoy. Whether it's playing a game of basketball, pickleball,
bicycle,
yoga class with other women or people you enjoy. Yeah, riding the bike. So find something that you enjoy, and you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, indeed. So true. And that childlike disposition is so powerful. When was the last time we looked at an apple and thought how cool the apple was? At some point, we kind of get in our heads like, why are apples $2.99 a pound? What the beep, So I think at some point we can
I don't know. I don't know. I look at apples. I'm like, this is really cool, or this is really big, but am I on mushrooms or am I not?
If we can do that without the shrooms, if we can do that, then I know you're in the right frame.
I do both. So there you go.
Very good. Very good.
Do you have questions for Jimmy?
We've had so many awesome ideas we've shared.
No, I mean, I think what you said was brilliant. I really appreciate you coming back and sharing this. I think you're gonna help people, and I appreciate how much you give to not just to everybody, but also to us. I know time is very valuable, so thank you for continuing to come on and do this. Where can people find more of you?
Oh, my website is advancedmassagece.com, based here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we do a lot of classes on Reiki, energy work practices, general massage therapy, continuing education. I still work on clients today. So if either of you ever come out to Arizona, please get on my massage table. Got my elbow ready for you. Okay.
All right.
You said advancedmassage.com. Is that correct?
Advancedmassagece.com.
CE.com.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Sorry about that.
AdvancedMassageCE.com.
Yes.
And Eva, did you have a last question or anything?
No, you had mentioned you had questions for him.
Oh no, I asked them all.
Yeah.
All good?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had 5 questions.
So no, we'll cover that another time. We're at 108 right now, so I know we have to wrap everything up. So
Oops. Sorry.
Yeah. So we will mention also on our way out. Let's see, I am live. If you want to meet me and you're in the Tampa Bay area on February 15th, you can. I'll be in Largo at the Broderick Comic Con. This is their second year. It's only from 10 to 2. For some reason, they're having just a little Comic Con. It's a little, but it's a fun one. It's very, very, very small, but very.
Buy her merch. Buy her merch.
Yeah, bring cash. Oh, we
Yes.
like cash. Cash is king.
Cash.
But it's a fun little show. A lot of local vendors and artists. It's very intimate. You get to hang out with everybody and talk with them. It's a good time. So it's Broderick Con in Largo. Also, if you want to see more of me and you can't make it out, you can also go to patreon.com, April Hunter. You can also keep up with me on YouTube here, April Hunter, on Twitter, April Hunter, or X, April Hunter, and Real April Hunter on Instagram. And if you are looking to preserve your money, we are sponsored by Wolfpack Gold. With everything kind of uncertain and going all over the place, you can buy gold for as little as $50. If you do a recurring buy, you can use the code 1776 and they will send you some free constitutional silver. So it's aprilhunter.gold. That is not me. That is the lovely URL they gave me. And if you invest in precious metals, it will kind of stabilize your dollar, since we don't really know what's going on in these uncertain terms, and possibly grow your money as well. So aprilhunter.gold. Eva, where can they find you?
You can find me. I don't have a website set up, but on any of them, it's either Eva D Spirit or ED Spirit. Excuse me for the a typo today. So yeah, you can also find me you can email me or text me, and we can hook up and do a reading.
She does readings, and they're really good. So highly recommend. So advancedmassagece.com for Jimmy.
Yes.
And thank you to everybody who is here with us. If you feel we're ignoring you or not, we pre-taped this several days ago, because I'm back in North Carolina, and I'm going to do a follow-up as to that first small short film I did with the tragedy going on in North Carolina. Apparently now there's wildfires just as they're getting back on their feet. So I'm heading back up. That's where I am right now. Maybe we'll be able to pop in and say hi during this live show, but you're not being ignored. I promise. We love you. And thank you for being here. And we will see you live next Tuesday. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. And Jimmy, thank you. Thank
Pleasure
you so
being
much.
here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Mwah.